this Florida Derby day, remember to sign up with DRF Bets.
Hi, everyone. The feature race on Saturday at Santa Anita is the Grade 3 Santa Ana Stakes, a 1.25 miles on grass for fillies and mares. And the race primarily centers around the favorite. She's drawn on the inside. She's Mucho Unusual, making her 4th stakes start of the meet. That's the most stake start by any horse at this 3-month-long meet, 3 months so far. And if she wins, which most expect Mucho Unusual will win, she will be the first horse this meet to win 3 stakes races. 3 other horses this meet have won 3 races: Disco Fever, Hockey Dad, and Mastering. The difference is that Mucho Unusual has been doing it all in graded stakes races. Up to now, her winter campaign has been one of sustained excellence. Now, do Grade 3 wins qualify to be described as sustained excellence? Well, why wouldn't it be? Yeah, she's good right now, Mucho Unusual. She's very good. So let's go ahead and take a look at the field. A field of 8. It's race number 9, the 9th and final race on the Saturday card. And I'm always appreciative of the racing office when they do something a little out of the ordinary, like put a stakes race to anchor the card. I think it's kind of a cool way to finish off a very busy Saturday around the globe. Dubai early Saturday, the Florida Derby Saturday afternoon. By the way, watch out for Collaborate in the Florida Derby. And then, of course, the Santa Ana Stakes at Santa Anita. So it's primarily an allowance caliber field. In fact, Mucho Unusual is the only entrant that has won a graded race against older fillies and mares. Red Lark, she won the Grade 1 Del Mar Oaks last summer against 3-year-old fillies. Number 6, Neige Blanche, she won a Group 3 last year in France for 3-year-old fillies, and the others are mostly allowance caliber. 3 of them have placed in graded or group stakes: Silverfile, Going to Vegas, and Altea. It's not a bad field. It's just a field that Mucho Unusual is expected to defeat. Her form this year has been outstanding. We'll talk more about Mucho Unusual in just a minute. But if there is an upset in this 1.25 mile race, it would have to be, in my opinion anyway, the filly who's expected to make the lead. She's actually a 5-year-old mare by Tappet, and her name is Tapwater. This 1.25 mile race is likely to unfold at a very tepid clip. There's really no true speed in the race. In fact, Tapwater, in her last 3 starts, she rallied from 2nd and or 3rd, but each of those races were 1 mile on grass, and fractions were a lot quicker than she will face on Saturday. Tapwater's been running in races that unfolded with a 45 and change half mile, a 46 and change half mile. On Saturday at a 1.25 miles, Tapwater is probably going to inherit the lead. Now, how about her current form and class? Well, this is her first graded stakes start. She's been an allowance filly, but as far as class goes, if she's loose on the lead, does it really matter? And how about her current form? Well, let's take a look at her most recent start, Tapwater, and you decide about Tapwater's current form. That's the gray on the outside. She sat 3rd off the speed, came wide into the lane, and she won this 2 other than by a neck over a fast closing On Mars. On Mars might have actually been best in this race. On Mars, one of the more unlucky grass fillies and mares that we've seen this meet, one bad trip after another. But take nothing away from Tapwater. She did what she was supposed to do. She won the race. She rallied from 3rd in that mile race. But as I mentioned earlier, I expect jockey Mike Smith to give her head leaving the gate. And if so, Tapwater could conceivably be loose on the lead, setting very comfortable fractions. Can she go 1.25 miles? Who knows? The first portion of the Santa Ana will be run downhill. It's kind of like a cheater's 1.25 miles. It's not really a true 1.25 miles because the early part of the race is run downhill. But if Tapwater gets out there on her own, coasts along, and is able to stay the trip, could she defeat Mucho Unusual? I don't see why not. Lone speed is always dangerous. Now, as far as the favorite goes, Mucho Unusual, well, it's not like she's a dead closer that needs pace assistance. In fact, Mucho Unusual has enough tactical speed to be forwardly placed. she probably will sit second behind Tapwater, which puts her in a perfect spot to pounce and make her move. And if the class of the field prevails, it'll be Mucho Unusual in the winner's circle after the Santa Ana. Now, Mucho Unusual has made 3 starts this meet, and she ran super all 3 times. Let's go ahead and take a look at the winter campaign of Mucho Unusual, starting with the Grade 3 Robert J. Frankel Stakes on December 27th. She won this race by 3/4 of a length. This was going 1 mile and 1/8. And this is a mare who just loves to win. She has now won 7 races from 20 starts. She would come back 1 month later in the Grade 3 Megahertz. This race was a little less impressive. That's her 3 from the fence in the outside and only 4 horses in this field. And she had to work a little bit to win this race, Mucho Unusual did. She was 2-5. But again, she won the race. She refuses to let anybody pass her in the lane. And this was at her not preferred distance of 1 mile. She would come back 1 month later in the Grade 2 Buena Vista, and she caught the sharpest grass fillier mare on the circuit this winter, and that's Charmaine's Mia out there on the lead. And Mucho Unusual, she tried hard, but she could not get past Charmaine's Mia. Charmaine's Mia is a fast horse. She got a pace pressing trip. She got first run, and Mucho Unusual simply could not run her down. That was going 1 mile. Could the same scenario unfold on Saturday in the 1 1/4 Santa Ana? It's not Charmaine's Mia that Mucho Unusual will be chasing. It's Tapwater. But maybe Tapwater gets loose on the lead. And as I said earlier, if she stays the trip, she has a chance to maybe post an upset. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? Lone speed is always dangerous. Mucho Unusual is going to be heavily favored. So from a betting perspective, I guess, how do you attack this race? You can take the short price and bet Mucho Unusual straight. I want to just bring to mind a specific trainer who has won with only 1 of his last 26 starters. However, Leonard Powell's horses are outrunning their expectations. In fact, in the last couple weeks, Powell has had 7 starters, only 1 win, but he had a runner-up finish in a maiden race, finished second at 48-1. That was last Friday. Earlier, he had Big Coop finish second at 13-1. And before that, it was Miss Flawless winning at 26-1. So I only bring it up because Powell has 2 horses in this race, Silverfile and Neige Blanche. Powell's win percentage in recent weeks is abysmal, but his horses are firing at prices. I don't think that Neige Blanche is going to be much of a price because she ran in 3 successive Group 1 races against 3-year-olds last year, and those grade 1s kind of leap off the page. But number 2, Silverfile, whose name I probably butchered, I think she might be better than her 2 U.S. starts suggest, and the Powell long shots are outrunning expectations. So if you're looking for a price horse to maybe slip into the exacta and/or trifecta, take a look at number 2, Silverfile. She should be a giant price, 20-1 maybe 15-1, somewhere in that ballpark. But I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Silverfile outrun her odds. But when all is said and done, Mucho Unusual sitting second behind the likely pace setter Tapwater, she enters the Santa Ana Stakes as one of the most probable winners on the entire Saturday card. That's Mucho Unusual in the Santa Ana Stakes Saturday at Santa Anita.